I am worried for Quillan Salkilld. Quillan Salkilld is going in there this weekend, the pound for pound most handsome man on the UFC roster, no glaze, no diddy. He's gone in there against Poland's own Mateusz Gamrot, a dangerous, dangerous guy who at one point in time was in talks to fight for the title. I believe he weighed in as a backup fighter for Makhachev versus Oliveira. In the rematch, it didn't end up happening. He didn't actually get the fight. Volkanovski ended up getting the fight. But he did at one point weigh in as a backup fighter for a world title bout. And he didn't get the shot, but it proves how close he was. He's had a few hairy moments. He's had a few rough moments in the UFC. Obviously, his most recent to Charles Oliveira, he's lost to Dan Hooker. But he is a proven guy. He has a win over Arman Tsarukyan. Mateusz Gamrot is exceptionally good. And I am worried that he is going to out-wrestle and outstrike Quillan Salkilld. I've been watching some Quillan Salkilld fights recently. The UFC's uploaded them to the channel, and I've had a bit of fun enjoying a bit of Quillan Salkilld. You know, I'm a Quillan Salkilld enjoyer. I like the edits, the mo, you know. He's the fucking man, bro. His parents own a bakery, used to be a skater. He's just an all-round likable guy. I was watching some of his fights. Obviously, his first fight, his UFC debut, Anshul Jubli. He did not, in fact, redeem it. Poor bloke. I'm actually an Anshul Jubli fan, actually. I quite like him. It would have been cool to see an Indian fighter break through because it's a country that has seen no success in MMA whatsoever, or boxing, or really any combat sport outside of maybe wrestling. Would have been sick to see Anshul get it done. But Quillan went out there and knocked him out in the first 13 seconds. Absolutely brutal. He then goes to a decision against Yanal Ashmuz. And whilst that was pretty much domination from Quillan Salkilld, he was getting a lot of takedowns and he was spamming a lot of takedowns. This is one thing people forget about Quillan Salkilld. He's actually more of a wrestler than a striker. He has a judo background. But he was getting a lot of takedowns on Yanal Ashmuz. And he was getting hit in the entries. In the entries and in the separations, he was getting clipped by sloppy, winging overhand rights from old Ashmal. So that does worry me. That does worry me because the unorthodox kind of sloppy striking of Yanal reminded me a little bit of what I saw in the Dan Hooker fight from Mateusz Gamrot that really did a lot of damage against Dan Hooker. And Dan Hooker is, in my opinion, a similar level of striker to Quillan Salkilld. Now, obviously, you can argue the takedown, the threat of it added to that and made it so Hooker got hit a lot more. Hooker gets hit a lot anyway. With the threat of the takedown, it made it so he got hit a lot more. But it still stands that Gamrot is a good striker. He was hitting Charles clean. He is an underrated good striker. He's obviously known for his wrestling, but he trains out American Top Team. He's training with Poirier. He's training with high-level strikers all the time. His striking is fucking good. Mateusz Gamrot, that is. And I'm worried that in some of the separations, Quillan's going to get caught. And we've seen Quillan get dropped. In his most recent performance, Beneil Dariush dropped him or kind of pushed him to the canvas a little bit. You could argue maybe it was a off-balance moment from Salkilld, but he did get dropped. He did get dropped by a relatively insignificant strike from Beneil Dariush. He popped back up and obviously he did well. He knocked him out, but I could fart and it would probably knock out old Beneil Dariush. You know, he's got no chin at this stage in his career and it's quite sad to see. So I don't really rate the Dariush fight highly, and I'm watching the Yanal Ashmuz fight back in 2025 and I'm seeing him getting clipped off of these wrestling exchanges, and it just does not fill me with confidence when it comes to Mateusz Gamrot. He then goes ahead and knocks out Nasrat. God, how the fuck do you say that? Hazparat, the guy who he clean kicked in the head and actually fractured his foot, I believe. It was like a baseball bat across that bloke's head. He was palms up, face first, ass up on the canvas, out for like 5 minutes. And yeah, like I said, he went out there and fought Dariush. He fought Jamie Malaki in the meantime, subbed him. So he's been on a great run, but there are just moments in the fights that I've seen that just worry me. And it leads me to my next point. Mateusz Gamrot, I kind of spoke on this earlier, is extremely high level. He's extremely high level. He's ranked number 6, number 7 in the world right now. He's a highly ranked guy. He's only lost to the best. Only lost to Dan Hooker. You could argue he won that fight against Dan Hooker. Lost to Oliveira. beat Arman Tsarukyan, the number one contender, the guy who's either going to fight Charles Oliveira for an interim title or fight for the belt against Justin Gaethje. He's fought the best. He's beat some of the best, Mateusz Gamrot. And I'm worried for Quillan Salkilld. I think this fight is too much of a step up. And I don't want it to be the case. I said this about Jan Blachowicz versus Navajo Sterling, and Navajo Sterling dug out the victory, and it was fucking phenomenal. But I'm worried. I'm worried for Quillan Salkilld. He gets dropped. He seems a little bit chinny. And his striking, whilst incredibly impressive, and we get sucked into the hype of all the knockouts, it leaves a little bit to be desired. Go watch a Quillan Salkilld fight right now. I can't show any footage from them. Obviously, my channel will get taken down. In the meantime, you could subscribe. That would be great. And then go watch some UFC footage. If you go watch some UFC footage, you can see, particularly in and out of his takedowns, he is getting clipped. He's getting clipped, and at a rate that is a little bit worrying. A little bit worrying. Obviously, he's a young guy. He can take them on the chin a little bit. But we've seen him dropped, and we've seen him hurt a little bit by Beneil Dariush. So I'm a little bit worried. I'm not saying Gamrot is this fucking knockout artist, but I'm just saying that Gamrot can control him on the ground, get decent striking off when they're on the feet standing, and win a decision. I think he can. If I had to put money on it, I'm going to go with Gamrot. I really am. But I want Quillan Salkilld to get the W. I don't want him to be fraud checked. I want him to go out there and smoke this bloke, get another highlight reel KO, 100,000 views, 100,000 likes, and bring him closer to the title, because he's an exciting fighter. And he's actually a fighter who I really want to be champion one day. I really want him to be champ. I really want to see him hold that belt, raise that belt, bring it back to Australia. You know, we've got a few champions. Rob Whittaker, JDM, you know, and then guys from New Zealand as well. So Down Under is represented, obviously Volkanovski. So Aussies make some of the best UFC fighters, but I just think it's too much of a step up. It's too much too soon for Quillan Salkilld, and I think he might get exposed a little bit. Just as an overall fighter. It's not like he's a striker who's going to get exposed for having no wrestling. I think he's just going to get exposed as someone who's young and inexperienced in this game against the top level guys. Because you can't count the Beneil Dariush fight, even though it's a victory and an impressive, brutal, devastating victory. You can't count that fight as a real test and a real show of him being a top level guy, because he didn't go that long with Beneil Dariush. He just knocked him out. And before then, he got dropped. We've seen guys knock out Beneil Dariush in more devastating fashion. At this point in Beneil Dariush's career, it's not that much of a statement win. And then his next best wins are against guys like Jamie Mullarkey and Anshul Jubilee, like extremely low-level guys. So in my opinion, Quillan Salkilld has gone from fighting cans, pretty much cans. You could argue the Nazcrat was a bit of a step up, but basically cans. A chinny, washed-up version of Beneil Dariush, and got a ranking, and then called out the hardest possible fight in the lightweight division from outside of those top 4, top 5 guys. So I got to respect that. But he's called out the guy who I think is one of the most skilled lightweights in the top 10. And it's going to be a tough night. I'm sensing a Mateusz Gamrot decision. And it's not the exciting outcome that I want. It's not the exciting video that is going to get a lot of views, but it's my prediction. I might title this like Quillan Salkilld title run. Let's go, baby. But I don't know. I just feel like it's too much too soon for Quillan Salkilld. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I really hope I'm wrong. But go back and watch some of Quillan Salkild's fights, and you know, pound for pound best here on the roster. But he's getting hit. And there are holes there. He's a very beatable guy. But he's young in the game, and he can improve. And if he does get through Mateusz, then the world is literally his oyster. That division is his for the taking. And I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Let me know, like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing reactions basically straight after the fights. As always, as you guys know, I'm going to be reacting to this fight. And what else is on this? Is MVP fighting? I think Michael Venom Page might be fighting. It's a decent card. We'll see what goes down. I'll be watching. Like and subscribe. I have to get up early for it. I'm over in Australia, so I have to get up a bit earlier for this one. But like I said, like and subscribe. Much love. Thank you for the support on the channel so far. We just hit 200 subscribers. So within a month. So this growth has been crazy, and I really And I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. I'll see you boys later. Much love. Quillan Salkilld, please get it done. But I'm predicting a Mateusz Gamrot masterclass. See you boys later.